Alright, so to throw all this stuff together, I have my AO pass. Look at the... Unfortunately, the mic was turned off at the last video, but basically I just grab the little box that this dude is sitting on, the dude itself, and then I just assign them a new material, which was the AI ambient occlusion shader, and showed only that in the scene because I don't need anything else to render, and then I just rendered that, and this is what I got. Make sure you save it with transparency in the background. And then here's this. Also with transparency in the background, we can see like exactly where the shadows are pretty much. The transparency actually got like kind of screwed up. It was just like a dumb setting in my render or whatever, but like this should have saved at partial transparency, but instead it just sort of saved gray. So when I throw it into Photoshop, it's going to look a wee bit weird. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'll just throw in my AO pass, and then I'll grab my person and put that in, and go to my source images, and I just want to find the cropped background, which I will also throw into Photoshop once it stops asking me to confirm images. Cool. So I'm just going to real quick reorganize these and make sure that my stupid thing is actually functioning again. So background makes sense to be on the bottom. I'm going to turn on this AO pass. So you can see that now the guy is just sitting on... he's just sitting on the background, like one might expect. What am I doing right now? Anywho, what is this? Channels, RGB. Okay, still terrible Photoshop. But anywho, so I'm just gonna then dump my AO pass on top of this, and obviously I don't want it to be white. What it does is just gives like that little bit of shadow around areas that are close to each other, like in here on the, like between the jacket and the clothes and like between the table and stuff. So I'll just set this to multiply. It's like my favorite thing to comp in. It takes literally no effort. And you can see when I do that, it makes it, like right now this feels a little bit floaty on the side because there's no shadows, but like once you add in that AO pass, it makes it feel a lot more realistic. And it just gives it like that little bit of shadow. Like you can see here that there's like a little bit of reflection or whatever in this like piece of filament here. If I ever wanted to make this more realistic, which I really don't right now, but if I did, I'd probably go back in and like render this surface with a little bit of reflection from this, because again, you can see with the filament there is a little bit of reflection in here, which I would also expect to maybe see just like a hint of down here. But for now, this is totally good enough. The other thing you can do, so like I'll show you one with the actual, with the nicer shadows. So this is the image where I just rendered the shadows themselves directly in Maya with the image plane in the background. You can see they do show up a little bit nicer. So here's like the comped version, and here's the render out of Maya. And again, there's something that was messed up with the transparency in the shadows, so it's not showing up quite as nicely. It's still a little weird in here. I could have like comped this in, like modeled that in, but whatever. But yeah, so I mean that's pretty much just how you comp stuff together.